out of all the characters in the film you're aware of, and without spoiling anything,
Uh-huh.
who is your favorite or who are you most excited to see?
You know what? Jean. I like Jean.
Okay.
She's the villain, but like, there's a reason to her madness.
Okay. Is that a
And
spoiler?
I like her. I like her character. I like her character. I don't know why.
I love.
G'day. All right. Spider-Man. The Spider-Man. Will the Spider-Man come out to play? Oh, man. Where do I begin? Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's here. The movie's released. It's in theaters. I have seen it. I have thoughts. Let's talk about this. All right. So first off, I've been talking about this movie for the past couple of months, with the trailer, with all of the news popping up and all that stuff. However, unlike with Avengers Doomsday, I knew very little about this movie going in, knowing already prior that I am going to enjoy this film. I love Spider-Man. He is the Batman of Marvel Comics for me. He's this guy for Marvel. So anytime a movie of his comes out, it's an event of sorts. You know, this is something that a lot of people are going to be on board. I was at work yesterday, and every customer that is checking out or buying candy and things to go take to the theater, or they stopped in to have some snacks before they went to go see a movie. It's been a while since I have heard people say, "Hey, we're going to go to the movies after this." You know, it's like it's a thing. You know, the climate isn't what it once was. You know, after COVID, everything just kind of got screwed up. However, Spider-Man No Way Home hit in theaters a couple of years after COVID when everyone was like, no, the masks got to stay indoors and all, nobody's going to go to the movies. Guess what happened? The movie made $1 billion at the box office, which means that people want to go see movies, but good movies, a safety net of sorts, and that's Spider-Man. So with this film, 4 years later, Brand New Day, here we are, a movie that I was anticipating probably since No Way Home ended, knowing where things were going to go, or so I thought. So let's start off with this. First off, I'm not a fan of the Michelle Jones MJ character. If for those of you who have watched this channel, watch my videos, you guys know exactly how I feel. I like Zendaya. I think she's cool. I'm sure she's a nice, sweet person, and she definitely has strengths. I've seen her other work. I'm not, gonna discount that the talent that she has. I see why people want to hire her. I also see why people want to hire her for the wrong reasons. However, with this character, I always thought from the get-go, having her portraying MJ, not Mary Jane Watson, was problematic in the sense that you took someone who you could have just made a Michelle Jones because that's what her name is in the film, but you decided to call her MJ because that's what's familiar to Spider-Man fans. See, to me, she's not MJ. She's Michelle Jones. She's a character that's completely made up from the screenwriters to put into to give Peter a love interest. That's fine. That's cool. Just don't call her MJ. Call her Michelle or call her Miss Jones. Call her whatever, but she's not MJ. So nothing against her. Just creatives just don't know what to do and how to do it. So here they are talking about, oh, well, we can't make original characters. He kind of sort of did with this character because Mary Jane Watson's origins doesn't stem back from Peter Parker's high school days. That's in the Tobey Maguire film. It was done okay, but that's really Gwen Stacy. So in this case, you introduced uh, this girl who's completely different than what we've seen before in the other Spider-Man love interests. And great, cool, make her this awkward chick, but you made her into MJ. It's just weird. So, with that being said, my huge issue with this film, because it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a damn good one. But it's not the best Spider-Man movie, at least for me. This would probably be third or fourth on my list of good Spider-Man films, but I want to say this is that the whole point with No Way Home was to get rid of everyone's memory of Peter Parker being Spider-Man. However, with Zendaya's character, This was a chance for Peter to move on from Ned and MJ. And yet you brought them back here. And unlike Ned with MJ, you brought her back only because it's Zendaya, not because the story called for it. And I felt like the movie took a pause every time MJ's character, Michelle Jones, MIT, um, you she came on screen. I thought the film just took a break, and it took a hold. Like it was just pausing, and I it got so um, repetitive, and it just got to the point where it's like, okay, what is the point of this? Only for us to learn that nothing happens at the end, nothing moves forward. Everything is just pretty much more or less the same as the end of No Way Home. Um, and so we have like moments where, you know, yeah, maybe this could happen, and then we just kind of get undercut by said event, and then they never touched on things again. So I don't know. I felt like they just had her there because it's Zendaya. It's Tom Holland's wife. Cool, great. What are you doing with her character? Absolutely nothing. She's just here because it's Zendaya, and that's pretty much it. That's all you're getting. So, and with this film, I could see where people say like Spider-Man doesn't really have an identity and all that stuff. Yeah, because he's just going just day to day, just fighting crime and doing all his stuff. He doesn't really have a set purpose, yet. You kind of get a hint of that in the third act. At the end of the third act, you start to see where things go with Peter and how things are going to kind of form, but it's not really like clear as day. It just feels like the script didn't know what to do with Peter's character in a sense. So there's some screenwriting issues with that, but it's not enough to like dilute the film for me. I still enjoyed it. I like Peter Parker. I like that this movie was a Spider-Man movie. He wasn't, he wasn't a shadow for Tony Stark. There wasn't a lot of MCU isms in this, although there is a cameo. And when I say cameo, to me that means something special, like a special appearance, something that you're like, wow, that's cool, something you like that makes an appearance in your movie or show. In this case, it's not really a cameo. I felt like it was a disruption. There's a character in there that's in a bathhouse of sorts, and there's Peter and her talking to each other, and the internet tried to turn it into this thing where they're like, look at this, this is good, isn't this amazing? But it's not. It's oh god, it just reminds you of how lame shit got since Endgame. But that's whatever. That's a small potato um, in the movie. But I will say though, I did like Ned in the film. I thought he was kind of adorable with the Spidey tracker. I liked that they did something. And okay, and here's the difference between Ned and MJ in the film. Okay, with MJ, she's there because Zendaya. Okay, and she's talented. She's good at what she has to do for the script, but the script really did nothing for her to do except just be there and react to things and get pissed off at one moment, and that's it. And then we just kind of just there she is. She's just there for the rest, and we're just like, okay, this is awkward. This is very Gen Z. And I think that's the whole point. So, but with Ned, you have Ned who is pretty much on the same boat with MJ when it comes to Peter. However, there is something that happens in this um, with Ned that makes you go, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's cool. I'm glad he stayed." Um, and there's really little sweet moments, of Spider-Man and Ned, building Legos and stuff like that. Like those things I liked in the film, despite the obvious pointless character that's in that film. I guess like that's just the thing is that like you kind of just question yourself, like, okay, after all those things happen and that are said, what's the point of this character now? Are we going to see Peter move on? Are we? I mean, what are we doing here? So, however, um, that is just one of my biggest gripes of this film. Now, let's talk about Jean Grey. And it's not really spoiling anything. It's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Um, Jean Grey being introduced into the MCU in a Sony movie, a Disney Marvel character being introduced um, as a major player for future films, I'm assuming, um, in a Sony movie. Very strange, very weird, but okay. Um, they can't be called mutants because it's a Sony film, and I get it. And then fans will flex to the stars to go, well, mutants don't exist yet, so therefore mutant doesn't. Shut up, dude. Just shut up, okay? Just stop. All you Spider-Man shills out there are not really Spider-Man shills. You guys are MCU shills, and then you guys try to like take Spider-Man and go, well, Spider-Man's a Disney character. No, guys are wrong. 75% Sony, 25% Disney. Okay, this is a Sony film. Spider-Man is a Sony character. So when I hear people saying, like my old boss, I remember he's a Spider-Man fanatic, and he was like, well, if Disney just got a hold of Spider-Man, they'd make it perfect. You understand that if Disney gets a hold of Spider-Man, which they kind of do, but not fully, um, your Aunt May is your Uncle Ben. Let me repeat that for you, okay? Your Aunt May is your Uncle Ben. You see what I'm saying? It's Disney, right? So did Peter have an uncle? He had to. If there's an aunt, um, whose initials were that on the suitcase in Far From Home? BP, Ben Parker, or is that just a coincidence? See, it's just I wish that they could just keep it, classic, old school. Just keep it. Keep Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not hard to do, yet they are making it seem like it's a very complex character. And he's really not. It's like another Superman situation. Now, I'm not saying that this is anywhere near the quality of like, or the shit quality of James Gunn's Superman. No, this movie is light years better. I wouldn't even put this in the same sentence with that garbage film. Okay, like this movie is damn good. Now, if you were to ask me, what was the best thing out of this film? If you were to ask me right off the bat, put a gun to my head, things that stood out for you, go. The Punisher. John Bernthal's the Punisher. I loved him in this. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. If I don't care if people go, well, I loved him in the show, but they ruined him in this movie. No, to me, they didn't. I love the first season of the Punisher. I love the Punisher in Daredevil. I think that's actually my favorite version of him. And in this movie, I thought he was great. I thought he was awesome. I thought the banter between him and Spider-Man, I love that. I love the back and forth between him and Peter, especially when they are frustrated about things. Especially when the moment when Peter brings MJ to the Punisher, and the Punisher's like, "Who the hell's this?" and she's like, "Who the hell are you?" And it's like, that's great. I want to see more of that without it being corny or going off script. Because that's the thing that I was worrying about, was that this is a character, a very hard R character. And if you've seen the Punisher series, you know what I'm saying. When you watch that series, you don't think that there's a Hulk or a Thor or an Iron Man somewhere or a Spider-Man, but he is. And the show does a great job at doing that, just as like the Penguin did a great job at never having to mention Batman throughout the show to remind the audience that you're watching a Batman series. So you have to enjoy this. The Punisher was great on its own. It could stand on its own in a sense without having to be connected to the MCU. So to see this character in a Spider-Man movie, in a PG-13 film, in a movie with Zendaya, Tom Holland, uh, you know, um, Sadie Sink and Jacob Elordi, like all of them, it's wild. It's just kind of like, here we are. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was going to happen at some point. Just didn't know that he was going to appear in a movie with these kids. So it's different. I thought we maybe, if we see the Punisher, it'd be like the first time probably with Iron Man or Captain America, or you know um, something that's closest to being grounded in reality. But here we are, Spider-Man. Couldn't ask for it better. I mean, that's awesome. It's great. The Hulk. Now, I'm not saying the Hulk was the greatest thing to in this, one of the great things that stood out in this movie, but he was kind of pointless. But it was cool to see the Hulk again, and especially when he turned into Savage Hulk after getting fucked with by Jean Grey. I thought that was cool. The fight sequences in this film are great. I think they are one of the best Spider-Man action sequences. I think, despite that this movie's a piece of shit, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has one of the greatest Spider-Man action scenes I've ever seen in a movie. It's by far one of the greatest. So this is like right up there with it for me as far as the action goes. The effects, of course, are a little bit better here, which I'm not surprised. Every Spider-Man movie that comes out, the effects are so good. It makes you question what the hell other studios are doing or other Marvel films are doing when it comes to their effects. Um, Now, little side characters like Scorpion and all them, they're not major players here, so I'm not really like, I wasn't like looking forward to their characters like, oh man, Nacho's playing Scorpion. No, I was like, oh, he's got it. Cool, another shot. And he was pretty decent. It was good for what he did, but nothing that stood out for me. But everything else in this movie, I really enjoyed. I did enjoy just the Peter aspects of things. I enjoyed a lot of him and the Punisher. The score is great. It's the same composer as all of the other films, so I think he does a great job. He's actually kind of the guy who does a lot of the Marvel films. Alan Silvestri and Michael Giacchino, I think is his name. I hope I'm saying that right. But they are the musicians. They are the sounds of the MCU. So I think that's pretty cool. Other than that, I ain't got nothing really. This movie was really good. It delivered exactly what I wanted in a Spider-Man movie, despite all of the little setbacks. But other than that, it's a great time. I would go out and spend my money to go see this film. Check it out. Spider-Man Brand New Day is in theaters. I would give this movie about a 7.5 out of 10. I would put Spider-Man 2 is still my number one favorite Spider-Man movie, if not one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Um, Second would be Spider-Man No Way Home. Third, I'm battling between Tobey's first Spider-Man film or this one. I know it's because Tobey's my first Spider-Man film. I'm biased. I have a very, 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 very soft spot, huge soft spot for that film. I love it. It's not a bad movie. But when I watch it, okay, right now, I go, wow, this is such a proper film. And you know something? I like it. Fuck it. That's my number third. Spider-Man Brand New Day would be my number four, my fourth favorite Spider-Man film. In a list of great Spider-Man films, this would be number four. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's whatever. It just means it's there on it's part of the ones I like. So take that for what you will. So yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm donezo. And I hope you guys go see this film. This movie's really fun. Go take the kids. This movie's going to make a lot of money, a lot of money. I remember when people said Supergirl might outgrow Spider-Man Brand New Day at the box office. Yeah, that aged well. So we're here. Spider-Man's back. It's going to just destroy and crush the box office. And I hope it does for a long time. Let's get this movie to 2 billion. All right. Spider-Man, Sony. Fuck yeah. Let's go. All right. I'm out of here. Peace.